What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, and I bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And dude, like, what is happening right now? There is just so much news on Japan. Like, just chilling, you know. We were expecting a lot of stuff for global. We got the announcement of all the global stuff. I'll be uploading a video for global related content very shortly, but the Japan news is obviously the most exciting thing because we finally have the announcement of Whitebeard versus Shanks on top of a brand new super type Marco character, which we're going to be discussing all of their effects in this video today. But this just begs the question as to why. Why do we have so many legends, right? I mean, look, just getting back to the start of the anniversary period, we had the Fire Tank Pirates, we had Bonnie, the 3 super type legends, then we had Ace and Sabo, and now we're having Whitebeard versus Shanks and Marco. That is 8 legends released in about a month period of time. That is absolutely ridiculous, and I can already tell that a lot of people are going to be pretty upset at the fact that they're releasing so many legends back to back to back. I also think it is a bit excessive, but at the same time, this is a particular character that we're waiting to see what they're going to be doing with for a very long time. The announcement of the character poll, of course, everyone could vote for which versus legend they would like to see. This was voted for actually quite a while back, right? It was like towards the end of 2020. So we're finally getting it now, and this is like the after party celebration of One Piece Treasure Cruise 7th anniversary on Japan. So without further ado, let's get into the information regarding these 2 brand new characters. So shout out to Godot for the translations here. I believe also Blazing Gamer helped provided some translations. But let's go ahead and go through this awesome character, right? So V2 Marco boosts int characters attack. As soon as I read that, I was floored. I could not believe that they're really going to drop another int super type. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they're doing it. They really have a hard-on for int. I don't know what the deal is, but the other colors need some help. Ridiculously need some help, man. This is just insane. Insanity, bro. Why are they giving us another int super type character? We just had Bonnie, right? And then prior to that, we had like all of the Halloween stuff, and just it just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense why we're having another int legend. Boost int characters attack by 5 times if the crew's HP is full at the start of the attack. That's pretty good. That's a really nice effect. 4.5 times otherwise. Again, still pretty good. 4.5 base, 5 times if you're at full HP. Boost all other types attack by 4x, so you're still getting attack to all other characters. Fantastic. 1.3 health to your team as well. Also really nice to see. Allows the crew to overheal. Love to see it. Oh, that's also insanity. The fact that, you know, you can overheal, and anytime you're in the overheal status, you get the 5 times boost, which is great. And then once per adventure, if your health will fall below 30% or less, triggers his special at the start of the next turn. This is also quite an interesting mechanic, but depending on the team composition, this could be a bit annoying, as we'll get to his other abilities here. So we don't know like what his special cooldown is at the moment, but this character, I love the artwork though, it looks so good. His special ability reduces the slot barrier, or the tap barrier lock, by 3 turns. So that's that little debuff where you have to hit a certain tap timing to break your slot barrier to then change your slot. When you're inflicted with a slot barrier, you cannot change that character's slot. So being able to just remove this by 3 turns is pretty good. Though, I don't really know how useful this is actually going to be, because it's a very uncommon debuff. But I guess, you know, if they're going to put this on a character's special ability, that would probably signify that they're going to be introducing that debuff into content very soon. He also reduces paralysis and special bind by 7 turns. That is immaculate. I would also assume that with his crewmate effects, he probably completely ignores special bind and probably paralysis as well, which is great. He heals 50 times his recovery that allows you to overheal. So this is also really good, because it means that even as a crewmate, you can get access to overhealing. So that's already fantastic. This is like, already this alone is going to see a lot of play in a lot of teams. I love this a lot. So if your crew's HP is below 50% when you launch his special, you boost Sightin and Powerhouse characters' color affinity by 2.5 times. You still get a 2 times color affinity otherwise, but if you're at that low HP threshold, you get the 2.5 boost instead. So this is great, really solid. And it says if the crew has a super type active, boost the chain by 1.2 for 1 turn. Man, this is probably one of the best subs in the game, honestly. The fact that you get amazing utility, paralysis and special bind removal is so good. Slot bind stuff doesn't really matter too much. The healing, which can overheal as a sub, you get the color affinity, and you get a chain boost as well. Like, no, there's nothing about this that is bad, honestly. I mean, you could say, oh, you know, you can only really use him on super type teams in order to get the chain boost, which, yeah, that is kind of a drawback, but a lot of good teams these days are going to be super type captains, so that's not really that big of a deal. But the color affinity is a nice added bonus. He's basically like a super ultra buffed version of V1 Marco in a sense, right? Because he has overhealing mechanics, he has utility now, he's got boosts that he gives to your team that are probably a little bit better than what the V1 Marco gives you. Just everything about this as a crewmate is fantastic. His captain ability though, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of it because, I mean, look, you have to be below 30% or less to get the trigger of this, but then when you have a look at his super type condition, you only are able to use his super type condition if you're below 50%. So we'll have to see how this works out, because if you enter the next turn and you're below 30%, will it still enable the super type condition? Because it says that if you're below 30%, it triggers his special, which gives you healing. So we'll have to see how that plays out, because if you fall below 50% and it heals you and you don't get the super type condition, which means you'd have to get below 50% again, like that would be interesting. I mean, like if you're between like 40 to 50% or like between, you know, 31% to 50%, yeah, you can obviously get the super type condition. But all I'm saying is this could be a little bit annoying, but we'll have to see. I mean, you could use like the Moby Dick ship, for example, but you know, there are better ships compared to the Moby Dick ship. I digress. Let's talk about his super type, which says changes all slots into int, removes recovery down. I think that's completely right. It just removes recovery down and then turns int characters into super int. It's pretty nice. I mean, there's nothing really about this. That's bad. I mean, I guess you could say that this, as we said before, this could be a bit finicky, but I like it. I think this character is great. This is a character I would love to have just purely for his special ability. And I really, really hope that his crewmate ability resists special bind completely. That would be very useful. And I mean, at this point, for his potential abilities, if he has like fear resistance and if he has like the new recovery debuff one, if he has those two in particular, dude, this unit's going to be an absolute monster. I'm loving what they're doing with Marco right here. This new Marco is fantastic. Obviously, it is a bit of a pain. The fact that he's an int character would have been nice. If it was essentially any other color, I would have been over the moon. But him being int is a little bit of a downside to me. But other than that, nothing about this is bad. This unit is fantastic. Love it. Let's move on to the other character here, though. Oh, look at that artwork right there. Oh my god, that is immaculate. How can you look at that and say that is bad? This artwork, if there is ink effect active, is gonna be so insane. I can't wait. But let's move on to the next one. The big bad boy himself, Whitebeard versus Shanks. Again, this is another artwork that I cannot wait to see his ink effect artwork for. Let's get to it. Shanks versus Whitebeard. So let's have a look at the Whitebeard stuff. Whitebeard as a captain is going to boost the attack of Psi, Int, and Striker characters by 5x, HP by 1.2, makes Int orbs beneficial to your crew and increases the rate of them appearing, and gives you 20% damage reduction. This is good. This is a great captain effect. You get a lot of characters, just Psi Int, lots of characters you can get access to there. And finally, a Striker captain. I think on the Good Great Perfect podcast, we were talking about what we were thinking, you know, Whitebeard versus Shanks would actually be. And I did think, you know, it would make sense if Shanks and Whitebeard were like a striker and slasher captain, because with versus characters, we don't have like a striker or a slasher captain. We haven't had a good striker captain in a long ass time, so it's actually really good that we are getting one. But because of the way that this is structured, it's pretty easy to predict. Whitebeard is the int character, and Shanks will be a psi character, right? But this is great though. You know, you flat 5x, which is typical with versus units. You get a health boost, you get damage reduction, and you get lots more beneficial orbs. Like, this is great. There's nothing about it that's bad. One thing that I will admit though is that it's a little boring, right? It's just flat boost, HP damage reduction, and more slots. Like, it's nothing unique, so that's fine, but it doesn't have to be unique. It's a solid captain ability. Just captain ability alone, one of the best in the game because of how basic, simple, and powerful it is. Having a look at his special ability though, for one turn, boost the base attack of Psi, Int, and Striker characters by 1000. That is really good because it's no condition for that. It's a flat boost. You get the 1000 base attack no matter what. And boost their attack by 2.5 times for one turn. So you get a base attack boost and a regular attack boost to your Psi, Int, and Striker characters. What more could you really want? That's already so good so far. If the enemy with the highest health is 80% or less when you launch the special, you cut all enemies' health by 80%. So if they have, by 30%. So if they've got above 80% health, you cut their health by 30%. If the enemy with the highest HP is less than 80%, you get a 2 times orb boost to Sighten and Striker characters. So in the condition where you're able to, get that enemy's health below 80%, 2.5 attack, 2 times orbs, should I say, and then 1000 base attack. Like, this alone is already pretty good, honestly. Again, it's simple, it's boring, there's no amazing mechanic going on here, but it's strong. It's a solid captain, solid special ability. I'm going to be interested to see what the cooldown is for this. I'm going to expect, maybe with expansion, it goes down to 13. That would be my guess. If it's 13, that's great. Anything less than that, god tier. Let's have a look at his versus effect though, right? So, consume 10 slots that are Psi or Int, and because he increases the chances of them appearing, that's not going to be difficult to do. Reduces damage taken by 90%, ignore all defensive effects, and cut the HP of all enemies by 30%. Now, I saw a lot of people arguing about this, and the fact that, like, his health cut doesn't go through normal attacks only, that's so stupid. But, like, really, you gotta think, right? Versus effect do not activate enemy interrupts, at least from what we've seen, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't activate enemy interrupts, and if that is the case, this is a health cut that is a 30% health cut that doesn't activate interrupts. That, in my book, is pretty insane. It does give you damage reduction as well, which is like a whatever effect. I guess there's probably going to be death damage in upcoming content. But the fact that this doesn't activate interrupts, from what I think, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but this has the potential to be quite insane. And it does bypass everything except for normal attacks only, which is unfortunate. But you gotta remember that if you do get this to activate, then you do get the 2 times orb boost with the special ability. So you can decide you want to get a health cut with the special, which, I mean, I guess in certain instances, maybe you want to have a special that does damage to the enemy to activate a certain support effect. So that's something you may want to think about. You can use them in a couple of different ways. You can use the versus effect defensively, but if you do that, you get the health cut as well. This is a pretty good effect, honestly. I'm pretty content with Whitebeard. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing game-breaking, nothing new. But what we can see, though, on paper, Whitebeard's going to be good. So what we can tell is that Whitebeard would be an int striker powerhouse. That would be probably what he's going to be. But that's Whitebeard's side of things. Let's have a look at Shanks. So Shanks, with his captain effect, is going to boost the attack of Sighten and Slasher by 5x. 1.5 health, makes Sight Orbs beneficial, increases the rate of them appearing, and heals 0.5 for every perfect that you hit. In terms of captain effect, I really do like this. Obviously, Despair is going to be a bit of a downside to him, because Despair is going to reduce that health to very, very low values. Whereas with Whitebeard, right after Despair, yeah, you do lose a bit of health, but you still got the constant damage reduction, which is nice. So, you take and give with both of them, I suppose. But, captain effect alone, it's a good captain effect. There's nothing bad about it. Again, with Whitebeard, nothing new though. His special though, for 1 turn, boost the Sighten Slasher's base attack by 1000, which is the same, and boost their orbs by 2.5 for 1 turn. So that's the difference. Whitebeard boosts attack, Shanks boosts orbs. Then he says, changes all slots, including block, after 1 turn has passed into matching. When I read this is the part that I really don't understand. Like, why does Shanks change all slots after 1 turn has passed into matching, when as soon as you activate the special, you get matching, like, you get this orb boost? Wouldn't it make a lot more sense if when you launch the special, you get matching slots and then you get the orb boost on top of that? Because, or at least, like, do a 2 point, like, make this guy the attack booster, and then on the following turn, you get, the matching slots, and you can activate the Whitebeard to get the orb boost. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, I feel like this probably wasn't structured correctly, unless if I'm missing something here. I don't really understand why he, does the orb boost and then changes slots the turn after. It's really bizarre to me. I don't really understand why they structured it like that. And then it says, for 1 turn, reduces all enemies' defense to 0. Well, okay, so when you look at this, it says change all slots, including blocking to matching after 1 turn. And for 1 turn, reduce all enemies' defense to 0. So does this mean that the defense reduction happens after 1 turn has passed? Or is this activated upon initial activation? That I don't know. But when you have a look at his versus effect, which again is the same condition, 10 Sire Int Orbs, which isn't bad, he sets the defense to 0 for all enemies for 3 turns and boosts damage dealt to the enemies with defense down by 1.75 for 3 turns. I guess this kind of offsets the fact that he doesn't get matching slots on his first activation, because you can activate this to give you an additional boost, and it lasts for 3 turns, so you can carry it over multiple stages. And from what we've seen from Versus Effect, remember, is that the enemy cannot remove your versus effect buffs. So this is a versus effect boost that you can carry over multiple stages guaranteed. But you got to remember is that the defense to 0 for 3 turns, that does not obviously carry over. I believe that is only on initial activation, so that is obviously a bit of a downside. But still, another thing as well is the fact that it doesn't, bypass immunity to reduce defense. Even with his special, it doesn't bypass immunity to reduce defense, which is again why we saw Halloween Shanks be so annoying as what he was, is because his super type condition also reduced enemy defense, but it also didn't bypass immunity. It didn't do anything special. You couldn't even get a conditional boost with Halloween Shanks. So again, I feel like a couple of missed opportunities here with these characters. It would have been nice to see some really unique effects. Like, it would have been cool if, maybe his special had the conditional boost, but then his versus effect said, set all enemies defense to 0 for 3 turns, bypasses immunity, and then maybe add some other effect instead of another conditional boost here, and have the conditional boost on his actual special kit instead. It would have been interesting if they decided to go down that route. But on paper though, these characters are still very, very impressive though. You have to admit, these characters are very strong. I actually do prefer Marco, honestly speaking. I think Marco is going to be a little bit more of a valuable character moving forward, but I don't really know how I feel about this one in particular. I love the artworks of the two characters though. They look really, really nice. We have their PvP stuff. So Whitebeard in Pirate Rumble, his special cuts HP of enemies in a large range by 10%. Defense up level 3, attack up level 5 to int for 15 seconds. That is insane. And then when the time remaining is 50 seconds or less, you deal 1 times attack to enemies in a medium range. And that's on an 18-second cooldown. Okay, this is pretty nice. So it's like a health cut, and then it's buffs to your crew, and then you get damage if it's 50 seconds or less. But it's on an 18-second cooldown, right? So you can launch this so many times per run to get lots of buffs. You can get the health cuts, and if you got CT up, you can potentially get multi-stacks of this as well, which is pretty impressive. And his passive is int HP up level 5, attack up level 5 when HP is below 50%, own defense up level 7. This guy's solid. I don't know if he's going to be like a shoo-in for those int teams in PvP, but he's really, really good, right? Looking at his resistance, immune to special bind, and 30% damage reduction versus Psi. I think Whitebeard's really solid, man. I'm pretty impressed with him. Let's have a look at Shanks, though. Shanks is Psi defense up level 4 for 20 seconds. Okay. 1,000 fixed damage to all enemies in a large range, and then when time remaining is 50 seconds or less, deals an additional 2,000 fixed damage to enemies in a large range, 29-second CT. Okay, I think this is a little high, but then again, at a really, really low timer, if it's 50 seconds or less, this is an insane special. 3,000 fixed damage to enemies in a large range, and you get defense up to your side team as well. His ability, level 5 health, level 5 attack, and below 50% own defense up level 7. This is good though. Like, their passives are really good for their teams. HP up and attack up are really, 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 really good. And he is immune to special bind and damage reduction by 30%. I don't think we've seen the Marco stuff in PvP, but I'm interested to see what they've decided to do with him. But there we go. That's the rundown of all the Japan stuff in terms of the brand new character releases with the brand new Marco and the Whitebeard versus Shanks. I mean, we knew Whitebeard versus Shanks was coming, but we weren't really anticipating a brand new Marco. It just makes me think, right? Because, if potentially we went back and we chose a different character to be the versus unit, one of the other ones that was very, very interesting was a Rayleigh versus Kizaru character. And if they were going to release another character alongside that, it probably would have been Kuma, now that I'm thinking about it. Dang, we missed the opportunity again, lads. Maybe sometime we'll get a Legend Kuma. But I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section to the brand new Sugo Fest exclusives. They are not Super Sugo Fest either. These are regular Legends that are going to be in the generic pool from now on, which is great. So we've got Marco, which looks so good, and we've got Whitebeard versus Shanks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.